Mrs. Bonneville, where are we?
We sat on the back deck of Ciao Bella on a very cold July morning.
It's not that cold.
It's a bit chilly.
It's overcast, but it's not cold. You join us, yes, on the back deck of Ciao Bella for our monthly podcast, where if you're new around here, you know the script. If you're not, you send us your questions, we answer them, we don't duck anything. And that's the format. We usually try and do about a dozen or so, excuse me, each month. And should we crack on?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, and as we always say, genuinely, you can believe us, please. Mrs. Bonneville has no idea what the questions are going to be. She likes the surprise and the reaction. Da, da, da. So let me fire up the questions from the iPad, and we'll get cracking. Let's have a little slurp of my coffee. By the way, our doggy, our fur baby, is down here. He'll probably make an appearance at some point.
He's just been sleeping in a really unusual way on the sofa, hasn't he?
Takes after his mother. Right, let's crack on with our questions. Sue and... Sorry, I should have this off by heart now. All I do here is just literally cut and paste onto my notes section of the iPad. Sometimes we have to just moderate a little bit in terms of some of the language, but I just read them out exactly as they've been sent in. So, Sue and Kevin Jones from Swansea.
Oh, you're neck of the wood.
I'm nowhere near Swansea.
No, but you're a Welshman. It's a Welshman.
She started already. Can't believe we have only just come across you pair. We love it. Last week we had a whole week off work and sat and watched all of the vlogs.
Are you okay?
We were gutted when we watched the last one. We are now bang up to date though.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you.
We would like to ask, have you thought about doing long stay holidays instead of selling up and moving over to Spain or a warmer climate? We are of a similar age and are starting to think about how we can also get some sunshine on our backs when we retire. Sue and Kevin have also put, please keep the vlogs coming and please keep Kenneth in them. We know some folk don't like it, but we love the fact that you include him. Couple of things, Sue and Kevin. We will always keep Kevin in. We're a 3 now, and I know some folk decided to move on. That's fine. That's the beauty of YouTube. It's a big platform and there's enough for everyone. Thank you for your question. Have we considered, or would we consider, a long stay holiday instead of selling the boat and moving over to Spain?
I never even thought about that.
I hadn't. I actually used to work with someone. So very quick overview. I spent 20 odd years running my own motorcycle business and then sold that and then kind of retrained, did a master's, and then last 10 years or so I've been building a corporate career. So I worked with someone, a few, I suppose, assignments, I kind of contract. So I worked with someone a few assignments back who used to bank up all this holiday and take unpaid leave. And I think it was from November till March, would go to the Costa Blanca down in Spain, long stay holidays with his wife. And he always raved about them. That's the only thing I know about them. Apparently they're quite cheap, or they're cheaper the longer you stay, but never even thought about it, have you?
No, that's it.
Plus we've got our little fur baby to think about.
Yeah, because we're thinking more France, aren't we? France. I don't know what we're thinking.
We're thinking Spain.
I don't know. No, do you know what I was thinking then? Because we're talking about getting a Jeep next year in France for the 3 of us and just driving through the tunnel. If you've never been on the tunnel, get on the tunnel because it's just the best way to get into Europe, isn't it? So easy. So that's why I got France. I can't speak.
Oh dear lordy! Do you know what?
I'm drinking coffee.
I'll answer your question for you, Sue. We haven't considered it. Mrs. Bonneville's not quite woken up yet.
But we are going to a place in the sun in September, aren't we? That might give us some idea. Aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Why are you laughing at
I
that?
don't know.
So that place in the sun might give you options. It might say about long, short stays and things like that.
That's true. That is
it
true.
Could have that option.
It's an interesting question. As you can see from our reaction, we haven't thought about it. And in fact, I can remember when it came in, the question, thinking, oh, that's an interesting dynamic. I don't know. There's lots to consider. It's a good 10 years away for us at the moment, but it is something to consider. So sorry we've stumbled over kind of answering that one. It's just that we've really not thought about
Watch
it.
this space. We'll have to research that.
And thank you very much for the lovely comments.
Yeah, thank you.
Yvonne and Paul Fletcher from Granada in Spain. Beautiful part of Spain. I've ridden my motorbike through Granada several times. Wonderful part of. If you've never been to that part of Spain, go. Right, Yvonne and Paul have put, love you pair. Excuse me. You have little idea how much you make us laugh. Sunday night over here is a religion now. We never, and they put in bold here, never miss a vlog. And the podcast you do is so brilliant.
Thank you.
Love how you just say it how it is. Campaign for plain English is alive and well. Listen, we don't do grey.
I'm Yorkshire, I don't know the word grey.
God, no. So Yvonne and Paul's question, hope you don't mind us asking this, not at all. Are you aware of the new residency requirements for Spain, in brackets, minimum pension and health insurance cover required, close brackets, because since leaving the EU, things really have changed. Yeah, if you have, then just do it, because life over here is truly wonderful, and we know exactly what you both mean about the weather. We are both Brits and simply got fed up with the poor weather. Yeah, look, been over here for 6 years and not missed anything except, of course, family and friends. Good luck with the plans, and maybe go to a few exhibitions and come over to check out the various regions when it gets closer. Keep the bids coming. Love you pair. Do you know what, Yvonne and Paul? Thank you for that. Yeah, we are more than aware in terms of the visa kind of requirements now, or the residency requirements. Without going into too much detail, our kind of pensions are well and truly ticking that box, and the healthcare, yeah, of course, when and if we decide to do this, we would of course go and get 5-star kind of health insurance. That for me would be an absolute no-brainer. So we're aware of it. I suppose the things that we're not aware of are kind of the process of literally going out and, you know, buying yourself a property. So to your point, Mrs. B just mentioned it, we are actually going to a place in the sun. We sometimes sit and binge watch 3 or 4 episodes back to back.
We've just watched one this morning before we did this.
Yeah. So we are going to a place in the sun exhibition in September at the Birmingham NEC over here, where, you know, as I say, it's a good few years away, but I'm a bit of a kind of a planner around what I call the big ticket items, and this is a big ticket decision. So I'm going to start to do the research well ahead. But in terms of visa restrictions, yeah. I also been doing quite a lot of research in terms of France. France is different in terms of it doesn't necessarily stipulate the amount of income from your pension or your investments that you need. So France is also an option for us, but the preferred choice at the moment is Spain because of the weather. So thank you for your questions and you kind of your heads up on that. Watch this space.
Yeah, watch this space.
And definitely we would of course go and do some research physically over in Spain or France, but as I say, it's a long way off at the moment.
So you might see us at some point.
Take cover. Yvonne and Paul, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and they've put, sorry, please keep the vids coming. Love you pair.
Thank you.
Anita and Clive Johnston from Glasgow.
Lovely place up there.
I understand you lot up there like a drink or 3.
I did a lot of work up there when I was working. I loved it.
Right, so Anita and Clive. Followed you both from the very beginning.
Thank you.
And we mean the very beginning in Tenerife.
Oh!
God, you have had us peeing ourselves over the years, and we just wanted to say thank you, because we have just started to look at doing a YouTube channel on classic cars. As Clive is a retired engineer. We would love a hobby, and I suggested maybe get a YouTube channel. So, we have looked into a few things, like camera, brackets, iPhone all the way in terms of quality, and all the other creators seem to be using them alongside the iPad Pro. Any tips on spec for iPad, please? I'll deal with that now. You're absolutely right in my opinion. We're filming this on an iPhone, I think it's the 14 Pro Max or 13 Pro Max, and we've got the iPad Pro, which is fully spec'd. It's like anything, get the best one you possibly can. This is the top spec one. It's got a couple of terabytes of memory on it. It just eats 4K footage. It doesn't buffer when you're editing, so I completely agree there. It's only our opinion now. Other approaches are available. Editing software, we are starting to use LumaFusion, as it seems to be the best in terms of what we're wanting to do.
I love LumaFusion.
Every day.
Fabulous.
Now, on an iPad, because it's an app, absolutely. Now, if you're using maybe a laptop or a MacBook, when we had the Motorbike channel, I did most of the editing myself. So you have got Final Cut Pro to look at as well, which and Premiere Pro. They're good packages as well. Consider that. Editing software. One thing we just aren't sure about is how to deal with all the trolls. Any tips would be more than welcome. Clive is a very sensitive chap, and I feel this would really upset him and put him off very quickly. Well, do you want to go first? Trolls?
Block them. Just block them. That's it. That's what I've done before. Just block them. Just block. Take no notice of them. They're keyboard warriors. They're people that either they're wannabes. They're sat there in the little rooms. Who can I upset today? Let's see how many people I can upset today. Just ignore them. We watched a few weeks ago, Foxes Afloat did a brilliant vlog about trolls and dealing with trolls, and it upset us a bit because we didn't realise just how bad some of the trolls were. It was awful.
Yeah, it was shocking.
The way they dealt with it was brilliant.
Yeah.
The more you acknowledge a troll, the more you're feeding them, basically. So just block them, get rid of it. Look at a comment, get rid of it, forget about it, it's gone. And they'll just move on to something else and sit back in the little room and
Yeah, the one, I agree with all of that, and that is a good shout. Maybe go take a look at Foxes Afloat. They did a week, 10 days ago, they did an upload. Fantastic. It was really sad in terms of some of the stuff they have to deal with.
Horrible.
But have a look at that. The one piece of advice, and I say this within the framework of, we're a tiny channel. We have about 7,500 subscribers. Each month across all of our catalogue, we probably get about 50,000 views across all of our catalogue. So that's a small channel, but it's still 50,000 views. The one thing I would definitely recommend, don't turn your comments off. If you turn your comments off from your channel, you're losing the ability to interact with those folk that watch you. And do take the time to make a comment. So don't turn your comments off. That would be the golden piece of advice. Mrs. B's right. If you do get a troll, just block it. Just move on. Don't interact with the idiots. Just move on. But don't turn your comments off. You are losing the ability to interact with your audience. And that, I say, I know we're a small channel, but that's the one piece of advice I would definitely give you. And it's going to be tough, Clive. It's without wanting to sound a hypocrite, it's one of the reasons I'm only on YouTube. And I don't really dip into the comments. It's Mrs. B that does all that, because I'm not really a massive promoter and advocate of social media. I think when it's used well and appropriately, it's fantastic. But unfortunately, you do get some trolls out there. So
you get it on every platform.
You do. So I stress again, you're going to have to get some thick skin. But don't on YouTube, I don't know about the other platforms, don't turn your comments off. Allow your audience to interact with you.
Yeah.
The good ones will stay with you. The ones that want to watch you will stay with you. We've got subscribers that have been with us from the beginning. So don't turn your comments off. But thank you for your question.
No, but just block them
and let us know how you're getting on.
Yeah.
Send us another message with your classic car channel, because I'm into stuff like that. So you've got a subscriber there.
And my dad, straight away, he'd be on your channel. He loves the classic cars.
Right, Rita and Bill. God, we're getting a lot from Spain. Rita and Bill from Costa Blanca. You've not put where, but yeah, that's fine. Thank you for reading this out. We do hope it gets read out, as we have never done anything like this before, and I've been watching you since you started. Wendy, Bill's a biker, and you are definitely his biker babe. I will allow it though, because you are so funny and very attractive. At least he likes the right colour, blonde.
And of course I'm very naturally blonde.
Can we ask, have you considered buying, in brackets, retirement present, a motorhome and spending the winters, brackets, we really don't miss them since we moved over from the UK. So have you ever considered buying a motorhome and spending the winters over here or even down in Portugal? We mention this because mention this because where you currently live looks so lovely and your boat is utterly beautiful. Bill's brother, has just bought a motorhome and we have been inside. Wow. Anyway, it's just a suggestion, you lovely folk, and perhaps something else to consider when the time comes. Please, P.S. please do keep the weekly vlogs coming. We so look forward to them. And again, thank you ever so much. We've never done anything like this before. Listen, you're absolutely...
Thank you.
Rita and Bill, thank you. Isn't it weird? What were we looking in yesterday? Wasn't it a motorhome, was it? It was a
camper van. Like a little,
It was a VW. Oh,
We went to walk on the part of the Tissington Trail yesterday, and when we came back to the car park, there was a lady there with a spaniel on the passenger side, and a side door of the van was open, and it was just lovely. And we got chatting to her, and she showed us inside, and it got a little two-seater sofa. It got a fridge with a little freezer compartment and the cooker and everything else, and it was just
Sink.
like a little van. Was a TV? It got everything in there, and it got one of those things where the roof lifts
like
up
a pop top or something?
you can sleep at the top. So yeah, and again we follow certain YouTubers, don't we? We love Van City Van Life. Is a Canadian guy, isn't he, with his bulldog Chrome, and we also like. There's a couple that are going at the moment. They've just renovated a removals van at Those Happy Days, and they're a lovely couple, and how they live and 24/7 in a they've got a renovated furniture van, haven't they?
Yeah.
But when you look how different people live in small space, I suppose now we live on a boat. I know we've got a wide beam and there's a lot of space, but we're all still living in a limited amount of space. So it's handy watching that. So that is an idea, isn't it? Lots of ideas.
If money was no object, me being me, I came back last night and looked at the price of them. You're looking at about £75,000 to £80,000 to get a really nice one, and they are beautiful, versus a motorhome if we were doing something longer term, because I do actually think it's a really great plan. It's a great idea, go in a motorhome, go follow the sun all winter. I'd rather do it in a motorhome than the VW thing we saw, again because of Kenneth, just a little bit more space. But I think that is seriously a really good idea, and we did actually go, I can't remember the name of the place, we vlogged it, to a motorhome place last year, didn't we?
It's not far from here. It's in a place near Newark, which is near here.
Brown Hills.
That's it.
Brown Hills motorhomes, and we were blown away. So who knows? That's one for the future. Bottom line, as we've always said, the only reason I would leave and want to leave where we are is the weather. If we had the weather here, trust me, we would be mooring for life. But you don't, and it's one thing I've always insisted. I do not want to retire without the sun on my back.
It's
I
good
really
for your
don't.
joints and things. As you get older, things start going a bit funny,
Yeah.
and the sun really fixes
unfortunately the UK just doesn't do that. So, and it is, again, it's another great idea. So long stay hotels or accommodation, or buy a motorhome.
You'd love that, wouldn't you? You'd love
I
a
would
motorhome.
love in a heartbeat. So yeah, a really good suggestion. Rita and Bill, thank you.
Thank
I'd
you.
love to know where you are on the Costa Blanca, by the way, because obviously, Spain,
I bet you
southern
sat
Spain.
there right now
with
in the
a
sunshine.
really, deep tan. Thank you.
Unlike us in July, sat here and I'm shivering a bit.
Yeah. Right. Vic and Pauline Griffiths from New Jersey, formerly residents of Stow-on-the-Wold.
Oh!
We were formerly residents of Broadway, which isn't too far away from beautiful
Literally
Stow-on-the-Wold.
just a few miles away.
It is.
Beautiful Cotswolds.
Right, Vic and Pauline have put, we just wanted to write to say, we are your biggest fans. Thank you. We have never ever commented because we don't really do all this social media stuff. It's passed us by, I'm afraid. We are coming over to stay in one of the lodges in late August, and we would absolutely love to come and say hello and pass on a gift to you both.
Oh.
You don't need to be doing that, but that is a wonderful
That's very, very
it
nice.
really
Yeah,
is.
of course you can.
We
Could have a coffee on Ciao Bella.
We do understand that Darren may well be working, but Wendy, it would be so lovely to see you and say hi. Can we please contact you again closer to the date of our visit? Perhaps we could meet for a coffee and also say hello to Kenneth. He is such a lovely golden retriever. Vic and Pauline haven't asked a question, but I've put that in there because it's a lovely thing to read.
Yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely.
I think you also put in your message that you could contact Mrs. B via a DM on
Twitter
or
or Instagram.
I don't even know what a DM is.
Just
Remind
DM
me what a DM is again.
Direct message.
Seriously.
Darren messaged me, when you come on over to the lodge, absolutely. Me and Kenneth would love to meet you. If Darren's not working or he's got the morning off or whatever, he'll be there.
Absolutely.
But you'll have me here. Just give me some notice and I'll work my day around it. And we'll have a coffee and stuff.
And that was a lovely
That's
thing
very
to
nice.
read. So Vic and Pauline,
I'd love to meet you.
couple of things. Have a safe flight over when you are coming over, and if I'm around, be fantastic. If not, she'll natter all day. And I hope you have a lovely holiday.
I'll give you both a hug.
Right, Sue Parker from the wonderful Kennet and Avon. Just wanted to drop you both a line to say that I'm a new Y-beam owner and how right you are about staying firm to what you want from a boat. I didn't. God. I must admit, Sue, when I read this a couple of days ago, I didn't, and I now find myself on a lovely boat, Aqualine 68 foot, with a layout that simply isn't working, i.e. 2 bedrooms, a rather small bathroom with a 3/4 bath and a very small shower cubicle. I can and will have to live with it, in brackets, finances, but my question is, if you hadn't got that utterly stunning boat you have now, would you have compromised on layout like I have done? What would have been the plan if you had missed the boat sale? Don't get me wrong, my Y-beam is utterly gorgeous. It's an Aqualine after all, and fit and finish is stunning, but it's the wrong layout. Ooh. So there's a couple of things Sue's put there. What would we have done if we hadn't got this? Would we have compromised? You go first. Be interesting to see Mrs. B's answer here.
Our hearts were so set on Chabella, wasn't it? But if she had have gone, we could have been waiting years and years to find another one like her, because she's just so lovely and spacious. I think we might have had to compromise, yeah. And I don't always like that word.
Okay.
I can't even spell it.
I have a completely different view, which is where I think, in terms of our relationship today, I think it wouldn't have tested it. We're best friends. I wouldn't have compromised. If we'd have not got Child Bella, someone asked me, what's your plan B? I never have a plan B, me, ever. I'm all in or nothing. So if we'd have lost Child Bella, the decision would have been, I think, either to have really got our heads down and ordered one, because the layout was the layout, and it's the layout that we wanted, so no compromise. So it either been that, or I think we'd have ended up selling the narrowboat and buying a lodge, personally, or something like that. I wouldn't have compromised, because this is the layout we absolutely wanted. That may not be something you want to hear, Sue, in terms of what you're currently going through,
because it takes ages when you order a
does.
boat, doesn't it?
It takes a few years.
We were chatting to a couple the other day, and they're on their 4th year, aren't they?
Yeah.
Not 4th year of waiting, but from them thinking about getting a boat made to it actually being ready.
This boat that we're sat on, because we've got the details, they give you a lovely big black fold. It's a beautiful thing we've got, with every piece of paperwork, and I've gone through it like a fine tooth comb. And this was a special order boat. This boat, from start to finish, they had to wait nearly 3.5 years, so you're absolutely right, and that's a big amount of time. But personally, I wouldn't have compromised. I was all in on this, or not. So and I know that's probably, Sue, quite difficult to hear, and I'm glad you have recognised you've got a stunning boat. The fit and finish and Aqualine, my view on that. The other thing I'd say, and I know it's finances, is can you get rid of that second bedroom? I know, for example, when we were looking at this, a little birdie told me there was someone else interested in buying it who wanted to put the second bedroom in it.
I was going to say that, yeah.
So don't forget, you can do, it's just like a house. As long as you've got the budget, you can do pretty much what you want to your boat. So think about it that way, maybe. But Sue, I hope that's, not helped or hindered, but it's just our view. I wouldn't have compromised.
I would have, and I would have looked around and but we did set our heart on this, so it would be a compromise. It wouldn't be our first choice or my first choice.
No, and I hate going through life like that. And it's a tough one, isn't it? It is really tough. But anyway.
Yes.
Sue, thank you very much. And if you do decide to take that second bedroom out, I'd love to hear how that goes. And I really would. Thank you. Dan and Jackie Price from Cheshire.
Nice.
And Dan and Jackie have put, thanks for the weekly vlogs. They are absolutely great. We hardly ever miss a Sunday evening.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. So we are around 14 months away. I'll put my teeth in. We are around about 14 months away from getting an Aqualine wide beam. And we are on the list for a number of marinas, Mercia being one of them.
Ooh.
Apologies. We know you have spoken about this before, but we just wanted to ask you again why you personally would not retire to Mercia. Mr. B, you are very similar to Don in that he had 2 different careers and he really doesn't want to retire. He just loves his job and career. Because he loves his job, he is terrified that life on the marina will be so dull. His words, not mine, and he will just end up, I love this bit, and he will just end up sitting on the boat doing jigsaws. Again, his description, certainly not mine. And watching reruns of Bergerac.
I'm Columbo. I like reading to Columbo.
We are not looking for advice because we know everyone is very different. We'd just like to hear again from you in a little bit more detail because you are so very similar to my husband Don. So I don't want to offend anyone. This is just personal because I know, for example, Mrs. B loves retirement life here. I personally, if I'm like Don, I absolutely love what I do for a living. I've worked very hard. So this is my second career. I've worked very hard. Hate the phrase to get where I've got. And I'm going to spend the next 10 years enjoying that because I've worked hard to get there. So for me, the thought of stopping work at the moment, wherever I was living, isn't on the. It's just not on my radar. At some point, around about 65, I will. And if I get 15, 20 years of active life after that, I'll be a happy chap. So right now, at the moment, retirement, not even. I don't even want to think about it because I do enjoy. Really do enjoy. No one's making me go to work. I enjoy it. But capital B, retiring for me personally here, so forget my lovely wife for a minute and everyone else would drive me to distraction. There's just no. Your description of sitting on a boat doing a jigsaw and watching Bergerac would be exactly mine. There's not enough. It's not stimulating enough for me. Don't get me wrong, I love the marina. It's beautiful, Mercia Marina. I love the boat. I love our lifestyle at the moment. But retiring here, never going to happen for me. Maybe we are very, very similar. But please, please let me stress, that's just me. There are so many other folk here that are loving their lives, and that's absolutely fine. And as I've said before, just to go in a little bit more detail, I'm not going to retire to this climate. It's just not going to happen. And as you've heard, we may end up buying a motorhome. We may end up doing long stay holidays, or we may end up just going all in and moving over to somewhere full time. But I absolutely want a minimum of 6 months sunshine on my back.
Guaranteed.
It ain't going to happen here. I do not want to sit, greatest of respect, no matter how well made your boat is, I do not want to sit on a boat in the winter year after year. That is not fun for me. And I hope that kind of explains it. I don't want to offend anyone because the environment we live in here is wonderful.
It's lovely.
But I do not want to sit on the back deck doing a jigsaw.
I think if we've got some sort of decent climate here in the UK, you might see things differently.
Yeah, I probably would.
When you sat on a cloudy day, it's July the 3rd today, we should be basking in sunshine.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm going to put my cardigan on in a minute. I've got my thick socks on. It's ridiculous. And as you get older, you want that sunshine on your joints and things. So I think the weather's got a lot to do with it. And
I think there's a few other things as well. I mean, whilst we're on a lovely big boat, when I retire, this isn't going to be big enough for me. I want, in an ideal world, what we're looking for is a little detached villa with a pool, with a garden. And when I physically retire, this isn't going to be enough for me, just sitting on a boat. It just isn't. And the other thing, I'm trying to future-proof, and I know there's an argument in terms of what I'm going to suggest, is the boat when I'm in my 70s, lugging 13-kilogram gas bottles around and filling it with water is also something I'm not interested in doing. It's all that stuff I'm trying to future-proof, but bottom line, it's not enough to hold me. It just isn't. I hope that kind of
10
explains
years.
it.
We've got 10 years
Yeah,
here.
got 10 years
And
to
loving
enjoy.
it, yeah.
And we are loving it. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving it.
Oh, I do.
You know, and if you have visited or your name's on the list, as you said, for Mercia,
You'll love it.
and if you get on Mercia, I honestly don't think you regret it.
No.
I really don't. I hope that's kind of helped
Yeah.
to clarify. Say, no one's making me go to work. I like going to work. I love my career. I love knowing that when I go to work, Mrs. B is going to have a lovely day because she loves her retirement here.
Love it, yeah. Got
But
lots
so,
to do.
yeah, for me, no thank you. I hope that helps. Get asked that a lot.
Yeah.
Right, Charlie Aldridge from Cornwall, now living in the USA.
Oh,
Look at
lovely,
you.
yeah. Love
I
it,
have watched you both for a while and really enjoy your approach and think you are very funny. I would like to ask Mr. B a quick question, if I may. How have you managed to avoid the weird and wonderful world of social media for so long? Is there a particular reason we don't see you on any of the platforms? Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I don't even know what TikTok is.
I'll come back to that. Go on.
I would really like to know why, because you're such a funny chap. Keep the vids coming, they are great. Charlie, thank you ever so much for that question. I think I may have touched on it on an earlier question. Again, it's just, please, no hate comments. It's just personal. Mrs. B has a polar opposite opinion. My view of social media is, if I was president for an hour, I'd ban it. I think there are a lot of folk on social media who are nasty.
Yeah.
And it saddens me, to be perfectly honest with you. However, there's also a small proportion of social media that sometimes Mrs. B will read something to me that's been posted or whatever on there, and it'll make me smile. But I'm sorry, it's nasty, and I happen to think personally, it's destroying what I would call good old-fashioned interaction and good old-fashioned kind of communication. But I know that's never going to change. But you'll never see me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Don't you know what it is?
Can I just say, because I agree with a lot of what Mr. B said there. Sometimes I go onto my Instagram and I go onto one of the feeds, it shows you different videos, and I'm lost for about an hour. Darren and I was saying, put that blooming phone down. But I was watching something the other day, and it was some people dancing, and I said to Darren, we could do a TikTok video, and he went, to what? And I said, we could do a little dance act. It's only a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds. I don't know how long a TikTok is. And he said, why?
I'm sat here with my slippers on for TikTok.
Hands up or comments. Would you like to see me and Darren do a TikTok sequence
Move on.
30 seconds?
Can I just say, never going to happen. Charlie, thank you very much for your
Thanks,
question.
Charlie.
We've got a few to go. Chris and Donna from Berkshire. Not our real names.
Oh.
Just wanted to drop you a note to say thank you, capitals, both, for talking about your approach to life with a dog. I work for the Dogs Trust.
Oh.
And we see so many puppies and older dogs being returned with comments such as, just took so much time up, stopped us from doing what we wanted to do. We could no longer do the things we used to do anymore with friends and family. We had a 6-month-old Alsatian recently stay with us, and the owner said they simply couldn't carry on getting up at 6:30 every morning to take him out. WTF, what the...
Yeah, exactly.
Do you mind us suggesting that you share with your viewers once again what has changed since you got Kenneth, and if you could reinforce that things really do change when you get a puppy? That really would be so amazing, because now the pandemic is over, we are dealing with so many tragic cases. Thank you again, and apologies if this comment appears to be lobbying you. Listen, a couple of things. For folks that have stuck around, well, the one thing none of you will know is I actually spent 6 weeks volunteering for the Dogs Trust a few years ago, just outside Broadway. It's still very much there, the centre. I had an amazing 6 weeks, and I completely relate to everything you've put there, Chris and Donna. I really do. And also, I spent 2 years working for the RSPCA, so in me, and also Mrs. B, is we are deep animal lovers. And thank you. I really... I got upset, if I'm honest with you, when I read it the first time, but thank you. And I know Mrs. B will chip in a minute. What's changed? Not a lot, to be honest with you. The only thing that, I expect, rightly or wrongly, if other folk around us can't appreciate that we've now got a dog in our lives, well, it's their issue, not ours. We've got Kenneth, and we're a 3, and everywhere we go as a 3. Now, yeah, there's the odd thing that may stop us from doing, but again, those folk around us, I expect them to consider and appreciate that. If they can't, fine, get on with your life. I'm going to get on with mine. We're a 3, and I completely agree. You know, it's not that we thought long and hard. We had to get the right environment for our little dog. You know, Mrs. B's retired. She's been retired 5-6 years now. And again, I'm not knocking this. It's just my view. We've got more space now to bring a dog into, and we've got a wonderful environment to do it. So, you know, yeah, it's a massive commitment, and you're not lobbying. You're really not lobbying. Think long and hard about it, because everywhere we go now, we've got Kenneth with us.
Yeah, and it does change your life in the
Yeah.
fact that you're thinking about 3, not 2.
Yeah.
And I suppose a good thing as far as getting up early is concerned, we are early risers anyway. We're that annoying couple. Well, we used to be that annoying couple in a hotel where breakfast starts at 7 and we were there at 6:45. We'd rather get up in the morning and fill our day with lots of stuff, have a few beers at night, and then be in bed for 10 o'clock. That's our perfect holiday. And that works lovely with Kenneth.
Yeah.
And he's going through a teenage stage at the moment, and it's so funny. A dog will bring you so much love and so much fun, but it also means that you're thinking about that next wee, you're thinking about the food, you're thinking about, you know, can we do this? Can we take a dog there? Can we, you know, we need to have the right car. We had a mini convertible, you know, and we used to zoom around like a pair of old, you know, I don't know what. But we've got a bigger car now because we've got the dog. Everything, to me, changes, but it changes for the better. It's long term. I want Kenneth for the next 13, 14, 15 years if we can. I hope so.
Yeah. There's someone I work with at the moment, and again, I'm not looking for comments on this, but just a real story. A couple of weeks ago said to me, oh, you know, I want to go away. I don't know what to do with the dog. Take the dog with you. I didn't say that, but in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, why have you got a dog? I know everyone's different, but where we go, our dog goes.
It's going to be dog holidays. Like I said, we're thinking about going to France next year.
Yeah.
And the vet will give us all the forms that we need. We'll go on the channel, so he'll be in his car. We'll have regular stops because he's used to travelling now.
Yeah, he's brilliant at travel.
He's a fabulous traveller. And we'll go and get a nice little gîte with a pool, a paddling pool, with a pool.
And I think he's a good traveller because, I'm not being funny, we've set the car up to allow our dog Kenneth to be a good traveller.
I would sleep in his dog bed. He's got a fabulous place in the back.
You should see his new bed we've just bought him.
Oh, it's amazing. It's
Anyway.
amazing. But yeah, with the dogs. So I think a lot of people looked at a little puppy. They got all the time in the world because of the pandemic, and it was so much. It was fun and nice and everything. And now the poor little fellas have been left at home, and
it's a massive commitment.
Well, you worked there for 6 weeks. I would have nightmares if I worked for a place. I take my hat off to anybody that can work for a place like that because I get so annoyed.
It broke
with
me heart.
everybody.
I don't mind sharing. When I did my 6 weeks volunteering at the Dogs Trust, I probably cried every day. To be perfectly honest with you, it was horrible. But listen, Chris and Donna, thank you for writing in. You're not lobbying us. You can write to us every single week of the year, and we'll say the same for you. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Right, we've got one final question. And apologies, Andrew, if I've pronounced this wrong. Kluit from Hamburg in Germany.
Nice.
I write, and apologies for my English, not a problem.
Your English is far better than our German.
Well, I haven't written it out. I haven't read it out yet. I write to apologise for my English, to ask if you can please show the well deck again. We have been to England several times recently to look at wide beams, and we can't decide if we need a well deck or not. My husband seems to think we would use it as another room. And like you, he fishes. Do you use it often, if I may ask? Thank you again, Andrea. Actually, we've got one other question after that. Andrea, I'm going to clip some footage in here when you watch this of the well deck, because we recently did a little kind of a piece on the well deck. I'll put my teeth in again. Do we use it? Yep.
Oh, he's always fishing out there. In fact, he says it's his man cave. I can't go in. Me and Kenneth are just like, what are you doing out there? And he's fishing.
It's another room. And, you know, we had a question earlier, you know, about layout. It was another non-negotiable for us. You know, some folk don't use well decks. what our narrowboat we did, and our well deck on this one is fantastic. Well, I've recently put a director's chair in it. It's massively comfy place to sit, and I spend hours in there fishing.
He
and I
nods off
love it.
sometimes.
I do.
I can hear him
Yeah,
snoring.
I do. I'm sat there like that. So yes, we use it, and it's not just another room, it's genuinely used. So again, it's personal choice, but if you're going to get a well deck, make sure you've got a cover for it, because otherwise it only becomes a room you can use in terms of what the weather's doing.
And if it's here in England, then it's not very often.
Correct. So I hope that helps, Andrea. Mandy, this is the last one. Mandy Beardshaw from St Ives. I'm assuming that's in Cornwall.
Nice.
Love the channel, and the banter is just brilliant. Keep it up.
Thank you.
We will. A very quick question for Mrs B, if okay. And it's not a boating one. Not a problem.
Okay, yeah, fire away.
Wendy, why are you so cruel to Mr B?
He needs it sometimes.
Mandy hasn't written that.
Taking in hand.
Mandy's put, Wendy, you have some lovely pieces of jewellery. Do you mind me asking where you get the lovely pieces from? On the wrist. You've got one piece that looks like it's black leather wrapped around with lots of charms. And also, I think you've got a Union Jack on a brown piece of leather, ? They look so cool. Thank you again, and please keep the vid coming, and apologies this is not a boating question. Listen, we answer any questions. Mrs B, over to you.
These are Pandora. They're just Pandora's a jewellery shop. I think they've got them all over the place, haven't they? It's not just in the
All
UK.
over the world.
Mr B, when we first started courting, Mr B's bought me a lovely silver Pandora bracelet, and for different anniversaries and birthdays bought me a different charm to go on it. So that's sort of like my going out one. And this one I just wear all the time. I don't take it off at all. And so it is like black twisted leather, and then there's little charms on there again that Mr B bought. So that's what that is. It's a Pandora black one.
Maybe just walk up to the
Yeah,
camera.
shall I just walk up to the camera?
Just allow the camera to focus when you get there,
Yeah.
my love.
There we go. There we go.
That's it.
So, and can I just tell you just very quickly, there's a little one here. I don't know if anybody's ever seen, is it something of the Galaxy? It was our wooden anniversary. Guardians of the Galaxy. And it was our wooden anniversary. And that's actually one of the characters, because he's made of wood. And that's what Mr B bought me for our wooden anniversary. Which is really quite cool, isn't it?
There you go.
There you go. What was the other thing?
And the Union Jack.
Yeah, that's
Pandora as well.
Pandora. And Mr B got that when we used to have the motorbikes. We had a Triumph Bonneville T120 and T120 Black. And one of the things that he bought for me from Pandora, it was a twisted brown leather necklace that went with the brown leather jacket that I'd got, and it had the little heart with the Union Jack, and that represents. It represents Triumph. So that's what that Union Jack is. It's the Triumph thing. So that's where they're from. Pandora.
There you go. Andrea, thank you very much.
Andrea.
I really appreciate that. Now, folks, that is the end. Excuse me. That's the end of the questions for this month's podcast. Now, special plea.
Oh.
Those are all of the questions that you used to send in. Now that we've no longer got a website currently, and it is my bad, and I am building it between meetings at work, so another few weeks. In order for us to continue these monthly podcasts, you're going to have to email some questions to a different place. So you can email them to myself, which is Darren Evans. I'll put it on the screen at the bottom. darrenevans05@gmail.com. I'll also put that email address in the comment section below the video in terms of where you need to send your questions to. As I say, I'm around about 30% of the way through rehashing our website. It's taken longer than I thought because I'm working and I'm doing it as a little project. Right, thank you ever so much for listening to us. If you've got to this place, wow, thank you for sticking around. As always, thanks ever so much for the comments, and next week is our weekly vlog, so we will see you next week.
On one of our travels.
Yes, Mrs. Bonner will say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.
See you next week.
Oh, I need to get up. Oh, I'm all stiff.
Old achy.